of the layouts and a lot of tricks, but not a lot of glitches,
Yeah.
as you will see, instead of any percent trend, which is really crazy. Actually,
Yeah, you go out of bounds a lot in any percent. This is mainly like a lot of glitchless games are just, getting the route down, hoping the enemies don't slow you down, and just hoping for the best, honestly. So there's minimal RNG, but it doesn't mean that you can't die.
Yeah, there's a pretty active community also, because on Discord we have like the world record man of the any percent, who is Yuma.
Yes, it's
He's
crazy.
he's crazy, he's insane, and he's discovered a lot of things recently and even before to help us going even faster. A lot of tricks and optimizations. So we are going to maybe start if you
Yeah,
want.
it's perfectly fine. You can do the countdown.
So we are running the game in low difficulty because, as you will see, the difficulty is not well balanced in the game. So even
No.
in low, you can actually die many times if you're not careful.
Right.
So we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So for this very first section, all you really have to do is click skip story sequence, so you don't have to watch the lengthy intros. And you can do that several times throughout the run. It saves a lot of time versus just having to watch it.
I messed up.
Oh, you did?
I was stressed and I messed up my skip sequence.
R.I.P.
Jankowski, you in position? All right, move it out.
All right. So yeah, the very first, I guess, even shortcut that you can do in this level is just simply jumping up on the wall like I did there, so you don't have to shoot down the barriers. Pretty much for the rest of this first level, it's just walking. There are no enemies that you even shoot, really.
Yeah, and if you don't know the story of F.E.A.R, the story is pretty complicated, so we are not going to talk a lot about it. And we don't want to spoil the game if you haven't done the game. Pretty much at the beginning, you're a member of the F.E.A.R, which is the first encounter assault recon. And your mission is to apprehend Paxton Federer, who's a telepathic soldier.
Yeah.
And he's gone pretty much insane, and he has a lot of men under his power, and they're actually trying to liberate someone. Sorry if it's not the right word. They're trying to free someone in Armacan Technologies. And
If you're looking at my screen, oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you're looking at my screen right now, that dude with blood all over his face and pants is Paxton Federer. So it really is complicated like a split set, because there are 3 of these games. So it really takes a couple of playings to really understand what's even going on, because even when I replayed these games recently casually, I didn't understand a whole lot that was going on, and the second and third one kind of just completely deviate from what the first one was trying to set up. So, but this game is still, in my opinion, one of the best FPS horror games to come out. The AI is still spot on, considering it's a game that's 13 years old.
Yeah, to my opinion, it's my favorite first-person shooter. And what is crazy about this game, is the AI, because when you play it casually, it's pretty interesting it's pretty crazy to see what the AI is capable of. But sometimes during a speedrun, it can be really tricky, because the AI is conceived that you have to, when they're attacking you or when you are attacking them, they're going to try to search for cover and trying to flank you and everything. So they're not gonna stay at the same place at everyone. So sometimes they can do something which is not what you were planning to have. And
Yeah, definitely unexpected.
yeah,
If you like try to throw a grenade or something, I mean, they're smart enough to where they'll actually avoid it, or sometimes maybe even try to throw it back at you. So for that part, that's why this run can be difficult. Especially if we were playing on something like extreme difficulty, that
oh my,
will definitely put hair on your chest.
on extreme difficulty, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you'd be able to do a speedrun like this on
Yeah.
extreme difficulty without hours and hours of grinding and just quick saving and quick loading.
It's impossible, I think, and or you will have to use a lot of slow-mo.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's another big part of this game is that you can use slow-mo, which if you've ever seen The Matrix, you pretty much already know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
we don't really utilize it in the run a lot of times just because it's mainly us running through the enemies. But in any percent, when you're setting up glitches, it sometimes helps to use the slow-mo just so you can get like a better positioning or something like that available. Here, we really don't have to use it. Maybe if we're like close to dying, we will, but not a lot.
Yeah. And what you are going to see also do a lot during this run is the slide kicks. You will see us doing a lot of slide kicks, which is it's not a glitch or anything. It's a pretty common movement in the game, but we're gonna use it a lot in vents, in under some windows and everything to go a lot faster than just crouching.
If there are low barriers, then it's faster just to slide kick through it. And also, if there are ever a horde of enemies, like what happens in this run a lot is you go so quick that you activate where the enemies load. So there's like 5 enemies that spawn at a point. Just doing a simple slide kick will pretty much wipe them all out in one go. So that's why it's definitely preferred to use that over just wasting your ammo.
Yeah. And so sometimes, yeah, just doing a slide kick into like three enemies in a row is pretty much more. It's even more harmful to do that than just going straight forward with a shotgun or anything.
And that's, speaking of the shotgun, that's pretty much the main gun we use in the entire run. Because there are several weapons obviously in the game, but each of them have a varying impact on what your run speed is. So I believe the shotgun
because of the weight.
Yeah, I believe the shotgun's 95 or 90%.
95, I think. You can run 95 of your current speed with a shotgun, like the pistol.
Yeah.
And others are pretty much really heavy, so it will impact directly your speed.
These enemies do have stormtrooper aim if you're doing it like us, but if you've ever played this game casually, you can definitely tell that they have anything but stormtrooper aim. We're making it seem like they do, but
yeah, they're pretty much really intelligent.
Yeah. It can even get really hard, even on this difficulty, when they have the laser gun, which is not a one-hit kill, but if you don't have armor, it could be maybe a 2 or 3 hit kill, even on low difficulties. So that's why we always watch out for enemies that have that, but that's mainly in the end game. Spoopy stuff is around every corner in this game.
Yeah, you will not see all of them because we're skipping some of them. I hope so also that there's no soft lock during the run, because you can have soft locks.
I was actually practicing yesterday, and for the first time, I got stuck in an elevator at one point. I forgot the mission name because there are so many different intervals in this game. It's kind of hard to remember. I at least remember
on Alice
it.
Wade, because on Alice Wade, when
Yes,
the elevator I got stuck like an hour ago when I practiced.
Yes, yes. And as the famous speedrunner saying is, that's never happened before, and I joke you not, it never has. It really never happened before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got like two soft locks yesterday during my runs, so
Oh, that's right. Sorry, this is a glitchless marathon, not a skip marathon. We're gonna have to watch our terminology. Can't be throwing those bannable words in here. It is definitely every GDQ ever is.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen that happen before.
Also, what I'm going to do there is boost me up on this bridge, and you can also do some jumps. Without being armed at the end, without taking any damage. If you're just close to a pipe, the game will think that you're on the floor, so everything's alright, so you won't take any damage.
Yeah. And yeah, there is some RNG aspects to the game, but there's definitely nothing where I'd say, you know, it's impossible. Like the enemies were definitely the most RNG that this game has. Because once you kind of play it enough, you learn like the enemies' movements, you know, where they'll go. I'd say the hardest thing is if you're throwing a grenade at enemies in this game, or they're throwing grenades at you, because for whatever reason in this game, your grenades do a lot of damage, but it seems like when enemies throw grenades at you, it's like 3 times as much damage.
Yeah. Yes.
So they can sometimes wipe you out in a single hit.
In a single grenade, and also throwing a grenade at some enemies sometimes can change the pattern of their behavior. So sometimes it's not really recommended during speedrun to throw a grenade at them, because they will do anything but what you want.
Yeah, they kind of adapt in that sense
to
wherever you throw it. Yeah, I mean there definitely are still some run killer elements to it, but I would say that this is definitely the least stressful game I've ever ran. And I mean I've done things from GTA to James Bond, and this is definitely the most calming run I've done. Especially when you get to the level we're at, though. Like Spl1t currently has a world record. We kind of bounce in between, you know, who has it. Like one week he'll have it, and then one week I'll have it. But since it's glitchless, it's such a tight, you know, time frame. There's not a single thing that I can do that he can do. It's just a matter of, oh, hopefully, you know, you don't get stuck in a swarm of enemies or something like that.
Yeah, actually, now that I went under 124 at the current pace, it's beginning to be it's getting pretty much really hard to do better than that, because there's just one mistake can mean that the end is pretty much done.
Yeah, so I mean when I'm doing runs of this, like if I get 5-10 seconds behind, then there's like a strong chance I actually won't PB unless I know it's a level that I messed up on. But especially these first couple levels where there isn't really a whole lot to do, it's just straight up running. It's more variety towards the middle to end of the game, where there's actually enemies you have to look out for. As you've seen so far, this is pretty much us just running and jumping, going on railings.
Oh my! I have so much trouble to do the valve skip.
Yeah, so Spl1t, I think, might actually do this in the run, but there is a thing called window skip, which saves a decent amount of time. I haven't learned it quite yet.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Okay, yeah, so I won't be doing it just because I haven't really had time to learn it.
It
But it
saves
does
a lot of
save.
time, but also it's really safer to do it because actually the window skip is happening it's happening like at the end of the run, and it helps you skipping a lot of enemies, a lot of snipers on the roof,
Yeah.
which are really harmful. There's like 10 of them, and you have to. They can pretty much kill you in like 2 shots, and doing the window skip helps a lot, as well as saving time. But the problem is that for some people in this F.E.A.R community, it was like going out of bounds. It was like
Yeah.
a glitch, so there was a lot of talk, a lot of things to debate about that. But finally, we agreed that it was not it was not out of bounds. So it's allowed now in a glitchless run, and it saves like roughly 15 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like I said earlier, it could make or break a world record, especially in this category. So eventually I'll implement it in the future, but for this run, I'm gonna do the casual way, so to say.
I hope it goes well for you, because that's gonna be hard.
Yeah, yeah.
But at least you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I guess you'll get two different views of it. You'll get one doing it and one not doing it. Besides out of bounds, I can't say there are really too many glitches. Because that's the main thing that like differentiates this category and any percent is just out of bounds. Because if you've ever seen an out of bounds or any percent run for this game, that's mainly what it consists of. This is more just like route optimization and hoping you don't die, because you do skip a lot of enemies in any percent.
Yeah.
There's also any percent no oob category, which it's like a hybrid of any percent and glitchless. But I feel like in that you're mainly just doing a couple different strats that aren't going out of bounds, but mainly like object boosting, where you can jump on an object and it'll levitate you to a different level.
Object boosting is really great.
Yeah. So that'd be one example of not technically being out of bounds, but it is a glitch, so that's why it is in its own separate category.
If we have time at the end, maybe I could show the floppy boost, which is my favorite object boosting trick of the game, and one of the most important.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how it's done. It's pretty much you jumping and propelling yourself with a grenade launcher at the same time. It's just insane to look at, and it's kudos to all the people that found these strats. Yeah. But this game definitely has picked up a lot more traction recently, thanks to people like Maxi Lobes, which I'm sure many of you know. He runs any percent now, but all it took was me seeing him run any percent to see, hey, I actually want to do glitchless and maybe eventually do any percent. I believe those ran at a few marathons in years before, but the thing is, just in this year alone, this game's changed a lot in terms of glitches, so what you've probably seen before is outdated by now.
Yeah, because there's also the unpatched version, the 1.0.
Yes.
You can use the 1.0. There's a category for the 1.0. But the 1.0 is really broken and not well optimized. Especially also it's really buggy with some devices, like Logitech devices.
Yeah. That is definitely one issue, that if you intend to play this game and you have a Logitech mouse or a keyboard, you want to disable that, because at first when I started playing, I didn't understand why. It's like, why am I getting
Yeah,
20 FPS on a GTX 970? And turns out it's a hardware issue. So there's a fix that's not too complicated to do that'll restore your FPS back to normal. Yeah, exactly. This game, in my opinion, is a pretty good length. It's not too long. It's not too short.
yeah, it's pretty much the good length, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started running Tomb Raider 2013 and it's pretty long. It's pretty stressful, for example, or even Call of Duty 4. So this game is that's actually really technical, but really enjoyable at the same time. It's not.
Yeah.
And you have some sense of freedom that you can do what you want pretty much anytime.
Mm-hmm. That's, like I said earlier, it's definitely one of the least stressful games I've speedran, and it's, I feel like, definitely true for some other people too, like Split. So if you're looking at my screen, right here is a heavy, as they call it. Comes up a few times in the game, but yeah, you have to be really strategic with your shooting, as I think he takes around 7 or 8 shotgun shells to the face. So
Yeah.
He's one of the enemies in the end of the game that has the plasma gun I was talking about that can pretty much kill you in 1 to 2 hits. So always want to look out for him. And this was a pretty good fight. You saw that I threw my mine right there, and Split will probably do the same.
Yeah.
Get rid of some enemies quicker.
Yeah, at the end of Exutomness, throwing mines at particular places is pretty important, so that everything goes right and you can do it as much as possible.
Yeah. It looks like you're actually ahead now. That's crazy. Just by a couple seconds, but we also do take into account in-game time. That's how the leaderboards are ranked.
Yeah.
Because definitely having this game on SSD versus a hard drive will improve those loading times.
Oh yeah, it does.
So right now I think I have this on a hard drive, so it's not the greatest. I think you have yours on an SSD.
Oh yeah, on an SSD, yeah, because okay, my hard drive is not very good, and I tried on my hard drive, and the game is running like at 30 FPS, and
okay.
and also it takes like 2 to 3 seconds more to load every levels. So
right,
pretty much prefer the SSD.
Right. Yeah, this game is constantly on sale along with the other games. I think just recently, actually, I saw it for $5 for all the F.E.A.R games. So
yeah,
it's
maybe even 2
yeah.
If you're doing a more thorough search.
If there was any game in the series that I'd really recommend, it'd be this one, obviously. But the other two kind of get a bad rep just because of how good this game was. They're not as good as this one, but I feel like they still deserve a playthrough on their own.
They're really great on their own, I think, yeah.
Yeah, if you're comparing, you know, it's no comparison really to this game. But
you can compare F.E.A.R 2 to F.E.A.R 3 and F.E.A.R 1 to F.E.A.R 3, for example.
Yeah.
They're not the same game, they don't have the same objectives, they don't have the... Yeah.
Whereas I think the second and third F.E.A.R are really like, they're true FPSs. Like, they're FPSs that, you know, I think everyone's going to be more familiar with versus this one. Just like the layout, for F.E.A.R 2 and 3, it kind of reminds you of like Call of Duty in a way. Whereas this game kind of stands by itself. I can't really compare this to Call of Duty. It doesn't have similar elements at all.
Yeah. Also,
just running now. Not much
also,
going on.
also what we're doing during the race is running against those the ninjas.
Yes.
Like you don't really see them maybe during the the run, but they're actually invisible and they're going twice as fast as you. So
Yes.
they can be really really bad if they get you, because
Yeah.
usually they don't during a run. So normally we're just keeping them, and everything's fine. But
Yeah, they not only do they damage a lot, but you can literally get stuck on them to where you have to go around them. So they seem to have like a pretty big hitbox as well. So that's why you always want to avoid them.
what is also important is the way you use your medkits. There's a lot of medkits in the game, so you think it will be a great idea to just pick all the medkits, but obviously taking all the medkits takes a lot of time, and sometimes it's not even necessary. So you have to really improve, optimize the way you're using the medkits, at which point you will be using one and everything. And it can also improve a lot on your run. And that's actually, I think, much better way for a speedrun than just auto regen HP.
Oh, definitely, because at least that adds a little bit, you know, of a challenge, so to say.
Yeah, you know, you actually know where you are when you are about to die and everything. Because
there are definitely a lot of parts in this run, actually, where you have to keep an eye on your medkits, because there are enemies that will be like 5 or 10 maybe, and they'll light you up. So you always have to keep an eye on your HP.
yeah.
Like at the end of Alice Wade, I believe, when you're running through the garage.
Yeah, on flight. Yeah.
There's like 15 enemies on every floor. So
yeah, that's probably one of the most one of the worst part of the run.
Yeah.
Because you can die even during the cutscene at the end. So
yes, if you activate the cutscene, and if you haven't killed enemies before, which obviously we don't do in a speedrun, we're trying to go as fast as we can, they'll still shoot you as you're talking to an NPC. So
yeah, talking of NPC, there's a lot of them in the game. You saw one just before, which was it was not on maps, and is gonna be recurring during the run. It's like an antagonist, if we can say that. He's not really against you, but a little.
it's kind of in the middle.
Kind of a middle, yeah. And there's also Bishop. You're going to rescue a guy named Aldous Bishop. He's trapped with a bomb. And also you will have to rescue Alice Wade. And she has an entire level dedicated to her.
Yep, that's how special she is.
So you will have to rescue her and kill a lot of enemies, and she will have to follow you. You will have to escort her and everything. And that's the most crucial part of a run. You have to be really fast, and you have to kill all the enemies that are in your way, because if they are throwing a grenade at her, for example, she will go into panic mode, and she won't follow you. So
Yep.
you can say bye bye to your PB at this time.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the hardest levels to do if you're trying to grind for a really good time, because it all depends on if there are enemies that you ended up not killing, and then you have to wait. So, and obviously waiting in an escort mission is big time loss.
Also, what is important is giving them the com link.
Yeah. Yes, don't forget that.
Which was pretty much pretty annoying to me at the beginning when I started running the game, because you do have to remember to give the com link to the NPC so that they can talk and trigger the rest of the game.
I'm guilty of that as well. When I first started, I'd be like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. You know, it definitely helped to listen to the game audio saying, give them a comm link.
That's why we're running the game with the subtitles, because
Yeah.
it helps knowing when a trigger is effective or not.
So once again, the mind strat that we use comes into play here. It can save a couple seconds by throwing one at the furthest right elevator, so you can focus on the heavy that was in the elevator, which obviously takes a couple more hits to kill.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you again.
There's
And
some
a lot of these were like small improvements made by Split as well. So any second really counts in this run.
Yeah, and Super Bob recently discovered that you can constantly in the vents, you can constantly slide kicking.
Yeah.
And it's not even a glitch or anything. So roughly at the end of the game, because there's a lot of vents, you can save maybe like 20 seconds, I think. I didn't really did the math about that, but I think 20 seconds
Throughout the entire
is
run,
possible.
I would say. Yeah, throughout the entire run, I'd say there's definitely a good amount of time saved, since there are a lot of events that you have to go through. So I think we're both actually going to be approaching event soon, so I
Yeah.
can show you what we mean. A lot of this stuff is like, oh wow, I didn't know that you could do that or this, and it's like, you know, it's always been in the game mechanics. It's more just, wow, I didn't realize that. So yeah, I'm coming up to event right now.
I don't know
jump.
where you are in the game, because the stream is laggy on my side.
Oh, is
so
it?
I can't see.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
your
on the
base?
window part is right now, where I think you actually discovered this as well. You can shoot out the top window glass, and then you can just jump through the balcony.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm right there.
I'm there too.
Okay, so yeah, we're pretty much tied.
The only mistake I made is messing up at the beginning. At the very
Yeah.
beginning.
Luckily that isn't in too many parts in this run where you have to skip some intro scene. It pretty much only happens a lot in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I don't think it even happens later on.
No, it doesn't, I think. I don't think it happens.
You sit there and you're wondering, like, huh, why? Why is this still playing? You know, I could be already in the game, but no, I have to finish watching these cutscenes first.
There's a cutscene at the end of the game that you can skip, but you can actually make it buggy.
Yeah.
You can trigger a bug if you're just smashing the jump button, the space bar during the cutscene. it will be you will be able to just see all of it. You can be behind the scenes.
Yeah. These are actually not your fellow teammates. These are replica soldiers, which are controlled by Paxton Fettel, which we talked about earlier. He is controlling them using his brain because he has crazy powers that, you know, obviously you're trying to stop. Because controlling enemies with your brain is pretty scary. Teammates are alive. They do look all the same with the exception of these ATC soldiers, which are a different branch. They're Armacam's security team, while the replica soldiers are just what Fettel
They're
came
just
up
clones.
with. Yeah.
ATC soldiers are actually for me the worst because I
They-
don't know
they could
why,
be.
but they're really harmful. And then they can pretty much kill your run if you're not careful.
It must be those red sunglasses that they have on.
Yeah.
That's protecting all the bullets that you're dumping into their bodies.
Yeah, maybe because on the Lad Dog chapter they're really horrible with you.
Oh yeah.
You can't do a thing.
Tripling RAM, yeah. Everyone should just download some RAM in this current year because RAM prices are insane. So yeah, if you're ever interested in running this game, it can take a potato to run it at max settings. So
Yeah.
you got that going for you if your computer isn't the greatest.
I remember when F.E.A.R came out, I had so much problems to run it because I didn't have any space on my computer to install it and everything.
Yeah, I really have fond memories of this game as well as when I first got my gaming PC in 2006. This was the first game I got for it, so in that regards,
Me
I
too.
kind of am biased towards towards it and why I run it. Yeah, the chat is full blown PC part picker.
PC computing debate.
Right. Hey, let's not blame the runners now, all right? We're trying to focus on the run.
Yeah.
Don't you bring us into this.
While you were out of contact, I got a read on Fettel's transmitter. It's all the way on the other side of the research area from you. You're gonna have to hustle to intercept.
No, we didn't mention anything.
Hey man, we're just trying to have this be as entertaining as possible, so So yeah, once again, Mapes is back. His face shows up every now and then. Just pretty funny character in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. He is.
Really greedy. Every time he falls through an air duct or something like that, he always has food next to him, which
Cheetos.
just solidifies him. Yeah, he has the F.E.A.R version of Cheetos next to him. Always get scared whenever an enemy says grenade out. Always try running the other way because thing will probably kill you in one shot. You know, that makes all too much sense, Time Shifter. Your name and the situation.
Yeah, you were there, but we weren't.
That's right. You must have been, you know, way back in the marathon. You must be thinking of someone else.
Yeah, does your speedrun shift.
It'd be a disappointment if you didn't. So once again, Mapes is here, and this level, while it isn't hard, I think this is the first like difficult level I'd say is where it starts, because you have all these turrets pretty much just spamming you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if you don't have a lot of medkits here, you're pretty screwed.
I don't know why, but I'm making a lot of mistakes tonight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The mistakes you make in this game really do add up. If it's just like like messing up a jump or something like that, really does add up.
Also, what is important with the run is that you have a lot of ladders, so you have to actually jump towards the ladder so that you can grab it midair and save a lot of time, because as you can see, you're spending a lot of time trying to to just go up the ladder.
Yeah, it's definitely really slow animation to just go on the ladder from the very bottom. Always try to get as much height as you can to jump on the very top.
Yeah, there's only like a couple of times where you can do that during the run.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, obviously.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well in terms of pacing. I think I'm a little ahead of you.
Yeah, you are.
And another enemy, I don't know how I forgot to mention this earlier, but is the I forget the exact model name, but if you've ever seen RoboCop, the big robot, it's pretty much what this game's trying to simulate. Thing can mess you up rather quickly, so
Oh yeah.
always want to be on the lookout for that.
That's
the rockets are quite annoying.
Those enemies are probably the one where we are gonna use slow-mo sometimes, just for a second, so that we can just keep them and be out of harm's way.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's ED209. I totally forgot that. It's been a while since I've seen RoboCop, but the most annoying thing about those enemies is there's a point in the run where one spawns right in front of you as you're trying to get through and shoots like 15 missiles at you, and it just constantly pushes you back. And if you don't have a lot of medkits, you're definitely gonna die. I'm talking about Wii games and everything else. iPhone games.
We're getting pretty close to the Alice Way chapter.
Yes.
We have the
I just had
chapter
the
after image just after. What did you have?
Yeah. I just got the doors stuck on me, which...
Oh yeah, that's annoying.
Another thing is, you don't want to try spamming the doors open in this game, because for whatever reason they have a tendency to lock up. And while you're sitting there, you know, getting shot at by enemies, you're trying to wonder why the door isn't opening.
Yeah,
so
I got it too.
Always just try to press once to open and wait for it. I'm not too familiar with why that happens, but and I have another flashback right here. Happens throughout the entire game.
Yes, there's a lot of them, but you can also kind of skip those sequences sometimes.
Yeah. Towards the end of the game, there'll be ones where you have to actually shoot at enemies. These so far are just like activating it, and that's pretty much it. But in the later ones, you have to shoot at spooky ghosts and whatnot to advance.
Yeah, and there's also an important sequence at the end of the game, a big reveal, where you have to shoot the ghost of Paxton Fettel. And
Yes.
I recently showed to Bourne and other runners that you can actually make it go a little faster with some little tricks, some little things. So sometimes you can actually make the game go a little faster, trick the game to go a little faster just by shooting sometimes, shooting an enemy. Things like that.
And right here is the part I was talking about earlier with the ED-209, so to say, shooting rockets in front of you. It's kind of a struggle you just have to push through.
Yeah, I'm just at this part, so I'm really like seconds just behind you.
Yeah, it's really easy to make stupid mistakes in this run and lose all the time save you had.
Yeah, because you're supposed to use slow-mo at this moment.
Yeah.
So
How does this fit into the Nightmare on Elm Street timeline? You're gonna have to ask Paxton Fiddle that. I'm not sure how he got his mind controlling abilities. I don't know if he controls them when they're in their sleep though. Actually, he might. Maybe that's why they call them like mindless soldiers, because there's an army of them. So if anything happens to Fiddle, they fall asleep, so to say, and they just shut down like robots. Robots that have blood for whatever reason.
yeah.
Might be some more scientific terminology going on there, but I'm not familiar. Could be like a Terminator. So you're on Alice Wade now, right?
Yeah.
Good old
At the
Alice Wade.
beginning.
Yeah. It's this is by far the longest segment in the game,
Yeah.
mainly because of the escort mission. But it is challenging, but at the same time, it's one of my favorite. I know people generally don't like the idea of there being complicated or hard levels in a speedrun, but I look forward to this when I'm doing runs of it.
Yeah, because that's when you know if you're ahead or not.
Right, yeah, this is definitely the first part in the run that I'd say, unless you really messed up somewhere where if you were 20 seconds ahead, you could definitely be behind in no time if you mess up here. Yeah, stupid antagonists. They don't get it.
I don't have luck tonight with the doors. That's like the third one.
Getting stuck a lot.
Yeah. That's not happening. Usually it's not happening to me. So that's annoying.
Yeah, it's never happened to me. And once again, the whole GDQ ESA things, I've never seen this happen before.
What the fuck? sorry, but there was an enemy which was not supposed to be there.
Yeah, we're...
I was pretty much was shocked to see him there. He was not supposed to be there.
Funny enough, I just died. If you look at my screen, you'll see an enemy threw a grenade right at me as I was walking towards it, and
you died?
Instantly killed me. Yes.
Oh.
I was pretty far ahead as well, so I'm definitely going to be behind now. It's like you mentioned, the things that can go wrong in this game, and then every single time it will go wrong.
That's exactly that, yeah. Oh, you got 3 in a row. Not lucky this time. In just one shot, shotgun. So on Alice Wade, what we will do is throwing a mine in front of the elevator, because there's enemies which are going to get out of the elevator at some point. So we'll save time by doing that.
It definitely happens a lot throughout the run. So if you have mines, definitely utilize them, or even grenades. But
Actually,
grenades are
if
definitely
you want
sketchy.
a world record on F.E.A.R, you have to use mines at this point.
Yeah,
Because
it's definitely
you won't be able to do a world record without it, I think.
yeah. Unless you just got really lucky and like, you made no mistakes, which is highly unlikely. But
Yeah.
every shortcut that is allowed, you definitely try to utilize.
The only run where I didn't die is actually my latest PD. So
Oh really?
yeah, I didn't die at all. Yeah. That was really unexpected.
Yeah, dying could be a bit of a gamble, obviously depending on where you die, but most of the time you will lose. It's pretty much just run over, even if you quick saved, because by default the game's quick saving checkpoints are kind of random and they're not as good as they should be, I think. It's like how I died earlier, it sent me around like a minute back, which is insane. But that's also my fault, since I should have quick saved there.
What is important on Alice Wade is that when you're meeting Alice, you have to give her a comlink, but you can't. You have to kill a lot of enemies, obviously, but you have to give her the comlink as fast as possible. Like I just did. That wasn't good because there was an enemy left and she wasn't following me. But you give her the comlink, but after you have to go as fast as possible, and sometimes she's just not gonna do anything you want.
No.
If you're not careful.
Alice Wade has, she does what she wants because she's an independent person, so she doesn't want to listen to the guy that's gonna save her life. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be romancing Alice Wade too much.
No, not too much.
Stuff happens to her later on in the game, so I think the character wants to steer clear of her and her dad.
Also, this is the part of the run where we can relax a little for like a minute, because there's nothing happening on the elevator.
No.
It's gonna stop 3 times, and at the 4th time you will have to go, but we can relax during those 3 first times.
Yeah. So it's just kill enemies for fun, trying to kill some time, shoot them with a pistol or something like that. Also, keep in mind, Alice Wade doesn't have shoes on for whatever reason as she's walking through. You're walking through shell casings and broken glass and literally everything in an office setting. And Alice Wade is.
She's even gonna
shoeless.
drive a car.
Yes, she does drive her car in a little bit as well.
Barefoot.
Which, have you ever driven a car without shoes on or anything? Just having her foot against the gas pedal is really weird. Pretty weird.
What's going on? What happened to the power?
Shoot Alice Wade at her feet. No effect. Pretty good time. Yeah, Alice Wade does have a nice look to her. Mentioned earlier, this game is 13 years old, but it in my opinion, has aged pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He did.
I think you can take it for like a 2010 game at least.
Even though it's developed with the Elite Tech engine, which is pretty old, actually, because the Elite Tech engine goes back to Blood 2
Yeah.
during the 90s, so they did something great with it. Of course, it's an updated version, but that's impressive. Really impressive. Really impressive. At the release date, it was an incredibly good-looking game.
Yeah, and it's things like that, like the small things, like the lighting and the papers floating around that
The
you don't really
dust.
see with a lot of games. Yeah.
Everything is alright.
Okay.
So what
Demon
happened?
said rip split. Said I was like, wait, what? Did he die?
Is
all good.
everything alright on the stream?
I think you're good, yeah. Unless I just misunderstood, because trying to focus and look at the chat at the same time.
Yeah.
And yeah, this
Yeah,
race
yeah,
is.
I see it. Yeah. I see that someone said rip split, but didn't die. So I hope everything goes well.
Okay, I think it was your stream that froze for maybe a second.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's what it was. Oh, okay,
Right.
yeah, that's what it
Alright.
was. We're all good now.
So the chapter where I am, and maybe Born 2, is flight. So what we do here is pretty much running, but it's gonna be pretty hard because there's drones flying around, robot drones, and they're really harmful. And also at the end there's gonna be the garage, which we talked about earlier, and it's gonna be one of the hardest part of the game, where
Yeah,
you can
really...
die if you're not too careful, and you have actually to manage also your medkits at the same time, so it can be pretty hard.
Yeah. If you don't have a lot of medkits and you're not keeping an eye on your P, you'll definitely get messed up and die. So.
I think it's gonna be alright, but
yeah, I'm sure with how much we've done this game already, it'll be fine. Yeah. But never say never, right?
Yeah, sometimes the gameplay tricks on you.
It has a mind of its own that I'm not gonna let you finish this race properly.
Like this guy that I just killed, which never happened before. He came out of a closet. I don't know why.
Yeah, so if you're at the closet, I'm a little bit below. I'm just where the shutters opened.
Yeah.
But now I'm in the room. So it is a pretty close race. I did die earlier, which once again, this has never happened to me every marathon ever. So that's pretty surprising.
Also say hello to Super Bob on the chat. One of the
yes,
F.E.A.R runners in any %.
Yes, always have to shout out the very small community that this is. So, hello, Bob. Yeah, the science behind how he's able to control the droids is pretty interesting. There might be a Wikipedia article, you know, like a F.E.A.R Wikipedia article explaining it. I haven't checked it out though.
I'm close to die on flight.
Oh yeah,
I
I
got
am
lucky. I
currently
got
on the
lucky.
first. Okay, that's good.
This way.
That's good. Right now I'm on the second floor. I haven't taken too much damage yet, but the third floor is really where you lose a lot of your HP because there's a heavy, and they have a rail gun, which is pretty OP. But we don't use that in the run just because of how heavy it is. It really slows you down.
Why there?
Yeah.
So we just rely on the shotgun to do all our work.
Also, I didn't use a medkit at the end of the chapter because we're in a helicopter, we're going to crash, and when you will be up again, you will have all your health. So you don't have to use medkits at this point. There's two or three times like that in the game where you don't have to use them at the end of the chapter.
Always try to save as many medkits as possible. Obviously, you never know when you're gonna need them later.
It's important on this portion of the game because we are at the last portion of the game, so it's gonna be pretty rough. And,
yes, this is definitely the hardest part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if we are ahead on our segments during a run, if we are not careful, we can lose everything on those two next chapters.
This level in particular has a lot of laser guns, like we were talking about earlier, and we actually used it earlier.
Yeah.
Which is why Split is going to be doing the window skip. And since I don't know it, I'm just going to be simply running through it like I'm doing a casual playthrough. But yeah, there's pretty much a roof full of soldiers with those laser rifles, so that part they just burn through your HP, so you want to make sure you're stacked up. And if you're looking at my screen, what I just did there, where if we have enough grenades and mines, we do, which is throw it at a barricade, so you save a little bit of time that way. Instead of just shooting out the barriers with your gun, it's definitely faster if you can afford the grenades.
So what I'm about to do is the window skip. So we're just jumping on windows on the side of a building, but it's really much faster. And I did it first try, so that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I didn't do it first try before. So.
I want to say maybe like 20 seconds behind you because I just got to the robot. So.
Oh yeah. I'm actually at the part where Alice is. There's flashback of Alice's.
Yeah, you're definitely a little bit ahead of me now. So, if you're looking at my screen now, this is the horde of laser snipers. See, one hit does roughly like 30 to 40 damage of HP. So, luckily it's a pretty short section, but it still pays off to do the window skip if you can. And another thing to mention, actually, that I think we forgot was you see these blue syringes on the ground, which are HP upgrades. As well as green reflex boosters, which the only reason reflex boosters really matter is when you're using slow-mo. So the more boosters you get, the longer you can slow-mo. Whereas the HP booster is pretty self-explanatory. It just gives you more HP. But at the same time, it also restores your health to full. Yeah. So once again, being cautious with your medkits, you don't want to waste them willy-nilly if there's a
especially
health
on
upgrade
the
somewhere.
chapter.
Yeah. Because personally, this part right here is the one I struggle the most in runs, because you only have 2 medkits here. At least I do. It's usually 2 to 0. And there have been times where I've just barely squeezed by with maybe like 20 HP left. So yeah, it's a while before you actually get more medkits in this level. So you have to watch out.
Yeah, that was pretty hard on me. They were pretty hard on me.
Yeah. Yeah, around 40 seconds. Yeah. The window skip really does save a decent amount of time, but also me dying kind of ruined it. Right here you see a heavy with the rocket launcher, which can also just absolutely demolish your health.
Oh yeah.
But luckily we have some more medkit opportunities here to collect, so
Actually, the part where I'm getting to is my least favorite, I think. There's a lot of enemies, and I don't know why, but on this particular section, they are destroying me every time.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've died there plenty of times, just because you don't have a lot of medkits, so you're trying to utilize it. Like, oh, should I use one now or should I wait? Because there's like 2 or 3 medkits down, a little bit more, but you want to save them.
I got lucky, I got a good pattern this time. Because sometimes the game doesn't want you to have a good RNG on this
Right.
particular section. So I got lucky this time.
The F.E.A.R modding community, I am not
Mm,
too sure on that exactly. I know there are a decent amount of mods out here for this game. A lot of it's like reskins or something similar to that, but
yeah,
not actually sure.
I saw a mod recently where someone is trying to do it as like a HD remaster, something like that.
Yeah.
So that it can look much better to the actual standards. But I don't see much. The most active community is probably the multiplayer community of F.E.A.R. Because even though the game is not playable anymore on the official servers, a lot of players and fans decided to create private servers so that you can still play the game multiplayer. So
which I actually didn't even know about. I knew there was a modding, option, but I've never actually tried it myself. Which just shows you how beloved this game is all these many years later.
yeah, and in multiplayer the game is really hard because there's no slow-mo, so the pace is extreme.
Okay,
The
that
pace of the
definitely sounds sounds a little scary.
Yeah, the pace is extreme. You can die in like in just one slide kick. You can die. You can die in 3 bullets, 3 shots. So it's pretty insane, but it's funny sometimes.
That sounds like something that interests you. You should definitely give it a try. This game is usually dirt cheap,
And it's
so
free.
if you haven't played it before, yeah, exactly.
It's free for the multiplayer. You can download it for free. There's no problem for that.
So like I was mentioning earlier, those invisible ninjas.
Oh, you got stuck on them?
Yeah, I was
Oh.
getting stuck on about 2 right there, and they would not let me
Yeah.
not let me pass by.
It's annoying when it's happening.
Yeah. So I'm really low on medkits here, so I'm did an emergency pit stop and got an extra one.
Yeah.
Just because you have to deal with 2 ED-209s, we can call it, robots with their rockets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really annoying.
They don't usually shoot me, but sometimes it's happening.
Yeah. It's when you least expect it.
So I'm getting to Lapdog, which is my maybe not the least, but I love this chapter, but it can be pretty hard sometimes, and I have to be careful because there's sentries and there's a lot of ATC guys, and we have to be careful because I can't
I
use
can-
a lot of slow movement, obviously.
Yeah, I can say with certain that Lapdog is my least favorite level. I hate it so much because the amount of times it has messed me over is just
Yeah,
too
me
much to
too.
count. Definitely hate it. So yeah, since I understand I'm a little bit behind Split, these are the dream sequences we were talking about earlier, where there are these really hard ghosts that you have to hit in order to progress, and if you don't shoot them, they pretty much just run towards you and take 10 HP of health. So definitely want to shoot them before they come at you, because towards the end of the game, actually, it's pretty much just an entire dream sequence. There's maybe 2 or 3 parts where it's just those ghosts coming at you, except there's like 30 of them, not a couple like it was here. And in one of the sections, we actually just grinded out and we pushed through them. And that's probably where you need the most amount of medkits, because if you only have like 2 or 3, and there's, for example, 10 or 12 of them, he's doing 120 HP of damage, and you're definitely going to be dead if you don't time your medkits perfectly.
Sorry if I don't talk much, but I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Because Lapdog is really hard.
I don't blame you. Definitely a lot of focusing and concentration on this part, as I should be, as I only have one medkit. The other games in the series, I assume you're talking about this one. I don't know why they're worse. I think in terms of story-wise, they're as good. It's just more the gameplay mechanics that I'm not
Yeah,
really a fan of.
the stories are good in the second one, and
I think they're all good. So
yeah.
and I just died once again because I was short on medkits. So
Oh, unlucky.
yeah, this I kind of had a feeling. I'm at 40 HP and I have 0 medkits, so gonna have to do noob strats and go hunting for some, just so they don't keep killing me.
Actually, the thing is that F.E.A.R. 2 and F.E.A.R. 3 doesn't play the same. Yeah, F.E.A.R. 2
Yeah,
is much easier.
Yeah.
For example, because I think, in my opinion, it was, and I don't want to start a debate on that, but in my opinion, it's because it was developed for both computers and consoles.
Yes.
So
I will.
the pace is much slower and the game is much simpler, but it's more refined in some ways. Sometimes it's really good. There's levels of the game which are really well designed, and there's a lot of good things, but there's also a lot of bad things. So it's kind of disappointing sometimes.
I will agree with you on that. I don't want to say it's mainly because of it being developed for consoles in mind, but I will say it definitely has a big part in it. And I just died once again, and it sent me pretty far back. So if I'm not, and I died a 3rd time by shooting an explosive barrel. Okay, this is going great.
Oh yeah, and I just died at bypass and I got pretty far.
Yeah,
I just forgot to save before the first bypass trick, and
yeah. So this level, you can see why we definitely aren't a fan of. It is a little hard, to say the least.
But actually, Bypass is my favorite chapter of the game because it's the one where you have to do a lot of riddles, like I'm doing. You have to activate. You have to actually bypass the energy of the of the of the place you are to open the vault where Alma is. So for that you have to interact with a lot of things, and Yuma find a way recently, in like a month ago, maybe a month and a half, to optimize the way you do it. And I knew it was possible, but when he did it, I was really enjoyed. I was really really happy to see that, because it helps to save like maybe a minute sometimes, and it's much interesting to watch and entertaining to do and see.
So someone asked top 3 FPS games.
Yeah.
I think you can go ahead. This is definitely, I'd say, in my top 3, not just because I speedrun it, but just because
F.E.A.R. is
the
my
enjoyment
top one.
value. Yeah.
F.E.A.R. is my top one. Then I will have to say I think that's pretty common, that Half-Life, the first one, is like,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's an incredible game.
Off the top of my head, this along with Bioshock 1 are some of my favorites. A third one I can't really think off the top of my head, because I don't want to just give you an answer like Battlefield, because I do like, you know, modern day FPSs. I'm not some hipster guy that just wants to hate on them, but I really feel like this kind of era of FPS games are the best.
Yeah.
Just feel like they actually tried a lot, you know, a lot more then than they do now. But Bioshock is definitely another one of my all-time favorites.
And I don't know. I would say in third, because I could say Doom, the original, but it's too common. And oh, I just made an airwalk. I got a bug. I mean airwalk.
Uh-oh.
So I have to to go back. Yeah, I would say, I think, because I played a lot with this game. Deus Ex Human Revolution. I love this game.
Yeah,
I love. I haven't finished yet Human Mankind Divided, which is incredible, I think, also, but I can't say because I didn't finish it yet. But Human Revolution is one of my favorite games.
Human Revolution is definitely one of my top favorite games up there. They might not be in my top 3, but I love the game enough to the point of me buying like multiple shirts of Deus Ex. So if you buying T-shirts of a game doesn't make you a fan, I don't know what will.
And Bob, it happened because I went into airwork because I was. I don't know what I did, but it's because of I don't know the barrels. I was too close to the barrels, and sometimes it can happen that you're going into airwork at this point. But it's pretty rare, but it happened.
That happened on my first run. Yeah, that happened on my first run actually, and I was scared. I'm like, did I just like glitch or what? Like, is this run invalid now? But it just turns out it happens sometimes. Just reload your game, or you can crouch, and it'll bring you back to ground level, or it should at least. Not the speedy memories. No. This game.
A few years ago, though, I would have said that Halo was on my top 3, the first Halo.
Oh yeah.
But I recently played it again, and no. The pace is too slow. I didn't really like it.
It's kind of the whole mentality of, you know, you liked it when you were go back to play it as an adult and you're like, wow, this isn't as good as I thought it was. I don't really have much experience with Halo, but I do enjoy the speedruns of Halo 1.
I played a lot of. I tried to speedrun the first one, and I didn't really like it. I don't like Halo 2 or Halo 3, so I was
Yeah.
really disappointed in them. So
It sounds like we're a bunch of, you know, hip millennials here saying, oh yeah, I only like the first game of the series. Anything else is crap. It just, you know,
yeah,
it just happens to be that, you know, the first one is sometimes, I'm not gonna say every time, but it's usually the one that developers put the most effort in, like more like a passion project. Whereas I think the other ones, while, you know, they still do it for the fans, I think sometimes it could just turn more into, you know, hey, let's make money, which is the purpose in the end of the day in general, you know, of any business, make money. But yeah, I'd definitely say the first one for a lot of series is the best.
the section of the game where I am is the vault. Alan Wade is opening the vault right now, and you can actually, with the F.E.A.R boost, jumping from this platform to this one. So with the object boosting that we talked about earlier, if we have time, I will show you just after, but you can save roughly maybe 5 minutes. I don't think so. Maybe not 5 minutes, but 3 minutes, I think, with the floppy boost.
Floppy boost is definitely a neat trick, one that I need to learn myself, but with my life right now, it's kind of crazy, which is also why I started. It's not a whole lot to learn. Obviously, there are still some things that you should become familiar with, but it is not as RNG crazy as any percent would be. Yeah, there's always that exception, you know, like I'm sure a lot of people will say that Terminator 1 is less superior than 2, but I'd say in more cases. Oh, see, oh, there you go.
I'm
Majority
gonna
of the people will say
start a shitstorm.
it's gonna be a giant debate right now, but yeah, like the other games in the series are fine. They're just don't compare them to this one, and I think you'd still have a enjoyable time playing them. So right here on my screen, the old guy at the computer is Harlan Wade, which is the father of the blonde chick that we were escorting earlier, and he's sort of say responsible for creating Alma. As you can see in 5 seconds, yeah, it doesn't have a very nice ending, but that's what you do when you mess with a little girl. Don't piss her off.
Yeah.
Or your organs will literally explode. But Harlan Wade has more of a role in F.E.A.R 3 if you've ever played it, because here you kind of just see him. You know, he's responsible for doing all these things to this, you know, his daughter. This isn't just some random girl; it's his own daughter that he locked up. But
In a
yeah,
vault.
yeah, in a vault, to say the least. You know, as if you're not a horrible enough parent.
Oh, and I died. Oh, I lost so much time. Maybe you will catch up with me.
Maybe there's a chance. I'm quite behind right now, but there is a chance. Yeah, here it is.
So it's pretty clear that it's not gonna be PB, but
Yeah.
I think it can be under 130.
I think, yeah, we're definitely still within, like, getting a good time. It's just that Honestly, don't expect any PBs during marathons. It's not too common to get a PB. So yeah, I am just now entering the second elevator to where you're destroying the reactors. So
Oh yeah, I'm pretty much ahead. Right.
yeah.
Also, we were talking earlier about the any percent tricks. One of the most important in an any percent run is quick porting. What the hell? I just fell off the elevator. I fell
Yeah,
off
that
through the elevator at the end of the chapter of the vault.
I know
Never
this game
happened
really
before.
is.
What the hell?
I know
First
this
time
game is
ever.
really relentless, so to say the least.
So
And this is,
yeah.
yeah.
What I was
This
talking about
part.
is
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
the quick porting,
As fast as
which is
possible.
literally pressing F5 2 times in a row and F9 2 times in a row, really fast. As fast
Alrighty.
as
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Hey,
Sorry.
guys, I know you're almost done with your run, but I just want to let you guys know, try and
And
keep it PG-13.
yeah,
Alrighty.
yeah, sorry. And the thing is that you're using that to teleport into levels sometimes. So it's really important to use it, but it's really hard to do for me at least.
And I don't think I could have messed up any more than I just did. So
What did you do?
right before you finish the vault, I killed myself. So I am right back where the generators are. So if there was any doubt
Oh.
that I was gonna finish second, definitely confirms that I'm gonna maybe finish like 4 minutes behind.
We'll see, we'll see.
Right. I mean, I guess anything's still possible, but I've never had
Oh, I have trouble
this
with
much bad luck.
This can happen sometimes.
Yeah. So me and Split are on two totally different levels at this point.
Yes,
Still
we
very,
are,
very
yeah,
much
because
behind.
I'm pretty much at the end of the game. One of the most important parts actually where I will have to use the reload trick. So when I'm gonna jump right over there, it's gonna trigger all the ghosts to appear, so I will have to drop the weapon and take these two at the same time so that I have all the oh sorry, I don't remember the word, but I don't have to
Yes.
reload anymore, and I just have to shoot the most accurate in the most accurate way possible.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is if you have the rocket launcher and you drop it at the same time while picking up the next one, you don't have to reload the ammo, because reloading on the rocket launcher is very, very slow and tedious. So if you instead just drop it and pick it up, it'll automatically be refilled already. So definitely saves a lot of time, and also saves your HP because you don't have to have the ghosts run into you.
So I'm close to the last sequence of the game with a big reveal.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna show you because I don't wanna spoil the game. I'm just gonna trigger the bug, so you won't see anything, or you won't see much.
Yeah, with how we're doing it, there's not really a whole to be revealed unless you're looking at the tiny subtitles that are provided. So if you've never played this, I wouldn't even say that this is spoiling the game for you by any means.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump over and over. I'm just gonna spam the jump button, and it's gonna glitch. the
It's quite funny when that happens.
Yeah. Up. Everything. We're in the Matrix. Everything is white.
Alright, so if you just looked at my screen, I just went through the horde of ghosts. So you can see it was kind of sketchy. If you don't have a lot of medkits, that part will kill you. You can take time to, obviously, shoot them all individually, but that's a big waste, so to say.
Also get ready on time because right at the end of this section, when the next chapter, the epilogue, is gonna load, it's gonna be the end of the run.
Yeah, so as soon as the next loading screen happens on split screen, that's run over. But not for me because I have maybe a minute or so left.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah, Alma is nude in certain parts in this game.
So that's
obviously her hair is covering.
That's 130.
130, 19. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that bad for when we take all the mistakes we've made.
Right.
It's not that bad.
all the dying and whatnot, especially on.
What happened to it?
Yeah.
What was that sound?
So I am about to finish right now. I'm at the explosion. But yeah, if I didn't die, I think this would have been a lot closer, but alright, so here I go. I'll just wait for this to finish and I'll also type in chat.
Yeah.
But my name is just Born_, so the same name or same way it appears on the on screen.
I'm gonna show everyone the floppy boost.
Yeah, real quick because I still have a little bit of time.
Yeah. I'm gonna show it. So we are at the vault, and with the rocket launcher, we will go just there. We're gonna shoot. We have to make sure that this door on the left won't close. It's not gonna be closed. And we're shooting this floppy right there. We're going to take it with us. We're gonna put it on the edge there. That's hard because it's
Welcome to the real world.
It's really tricky.
Yeah, this is something that I definitely cannot do myself. But has a better idea of how to line it up and all that.
And you have to go on the rail. So I'm just gonna quick save there. You're slow-mo. Slow-mo.
Follow notification.
Yeah.
That's great.
Sorry. Sorry, OBS.
Might as well share the love, get some recognition for following Split.
I don't know who followed me, but thank you.
Wait, it's really hard to do the floppy boost.
Yeah,
but
it's hard. I'm gonna just focus as much as possible.
once you want to quit, he can. So I'll just quit my screen. Split can
Alright.
show you if he wants.